because I grew up with a picture of him on the wall of the main room in our house, right from when I was very small. A 3/4 length painting with eyes that seemed to follow you wherever you went in the room. And stories from my mother, who had got them from her father, that there was a relationship with Quilliam through his grandmother. So that's where the whole thing started. Mother started researching it, and eventually I got it dumped on me to take over. She'd gone as far as she could with it and couldn't really sort of piece it together into a story, so that was my job. Well, there would probably be several, but some of them are things that are left open in the book, where we're not really sure what happened. It would be nice to get more detail of some of those, but that's really about it. I think possibly the one with the treasure ship, because it's something that's less known than the other parts of it, where he's buried, where he worked, as it were, when he got back to the island, where he lived. Those are things that are known by most people. And the Trafalgar scene is the one that's always known. But the treasure ship, which was a very important part of his life and his later well-being, as it were, is something that's less known. And it was quite an interesting episode. It resulted in the biggest prize money payout that the Royal Navy ever made, or the British government ever made. It was the biggest capture of certainly Spanish currency and goods that happened in the whole war. It took them about 10 days to move the stuff into the vaults when they got it to London. Thousands and thousands of silver dollars, literally millions of pounds worth at their rate, never mind at our rate.
Yeah.
And Quilliam, as a lieutenant, his share of it was just over £5,000, which, you know, if you multiply that up, I mean, it's a lottery win.
Wow.
And that was only part of the overall of prize money that he got, because he got other little bits here and there, and some of them, particularly when he was a captain, would have been bigger. The higher your rank, the more you got. So he did well out of that one. It was the silver dollars that are shown on one of the stamps. So, and that when they came, they were reused by the Royal Mint. They overstamped them. One lot they overstamped as bank tokens, and the other lot they overstamped as shown on the stamps with the head of the king. That led to this sort of joke that it was the head of an ass on the neck of a fool, or the other way round, whichever way they wanted it, I think, at that time. Well, you can only identify them by the ones that are overstamped with the head, by the date. And that would give you an indication that they did come from that hall. I mean, there were several captures of silver dollars at that time, but you can, you know, they're quite clear with the date on them. Strangely enough, I think the biggest part of his legacy was not actually while he was at sea. His long-term legacy, as far as the island is concerned. And when he was at sea, he was one amongst many who and the title of the book goes on it, you know, favourite of fortune. He was in the right place at the right time on many occasions. He was in 4 major battles and many small encounters. So from that point of view, you know, he was one amongst the whole group. When he came back to the island, then he made, I think, a very big impact on Manx politics and the relationship of the island with, first of all, the Dukes of Atholl and with the English Parliament and the Crown. The other thing that perhaps could be added to that is another thing which is less known, and that's his relationship with Sir William Hillary and the founding of what is now the Royal National Lifeboat Institute.